So I built my business from scratch without like trying to prove something to myself to show my parents. Like Habesha parents, they don't want you to focus on business. They want you to study, like the
Mhm.
ordinary lifestyle. You study, you get your degrees, you get employed.
Mhm.
That's the route they know. Like you can't blame them because that's how they survive. So that's
Yeah.
what they expect. But I force them into not going their path. I make them bend into my direction. Like I force
Yeah.
them.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like I was in that situation, and everybody's in that situation. So it's all about decisions. What you do, like
Mm.
being able to be confident on yourself that you can achieve anything. You can start from scratch.
Yeah, I just keep it steady on the magic. Do my thing, I'm healing, it's fantastic. If I fall, rise automatic. You ain't no now, you know. I'm the one rain myself like a tree from the roots. West side girl, cause she lit in the coast. East side girl when she speaks to the roots. Stay 100 cause she on with the truth. Been there on struggle, know that it pass. Only going up, yeah, the pain don't last. Ooh, take off. Ooh, take off. Ooh, take off. This is take off, take off, take off. Shorty like Brandy, fight like Monica. What you know about her? Baby girl rising, way to the top. Shaking the world, don't expect her to stop. Purpose so great, she get what she got. Follow her step, cause she following God. What you need more, got a heart full of gold. Even at times when it's raining and cold. Ooh, she bout to take off. Ooh, she bout.
What up, what up, what up, y'all? It is your girl, Hanna, but y'all are part of the Uprooted Fam, so go ahead and call me Rutha. It is another episode, okay, of Uproot Your Thoughts. You already know I'm repping for my girl Zoo Hair, Zoo Legend. If you haven't copped your merch, go ahead and go to www.uprootednetwork.com. Check us out there. But other than that, you already know this is the newest segment. Was like, let's just cut to the chase. You guys really love to learn people's stories. Y'all really be getting therapy out of this. And I think it's the most beautiful part is like really understanding somebody's journey and what they had to unlearn about themselves, right? What do we have to uproot out of our lives so that we can be that best version of ourselves, or at least the one that we're working on and manifesting and visualizing. So, with that said, I keep bringing on dope guests, getting their perspective because we also learn and grow together. We don't do this on our own. And y'all, today I have a very special, special episode, a very special guest coming all the way from Addis Ababa or Finfine, if that's what you guys call it, because that's what I call it now. I'm really, really excited to be bringing to y'all my very own cousin. His name is Kidus, and y'all don't know this, not everybody, but he's actually the one that made my first logo for me. And yes, so this is about to be a very, very important episode, and I'm so excited. So, y'all, welcome to the stage, my cousin Kidus. What's up,
Hello, hey, Ruth. How have you been?
cousin?
How's
Good. I
everything?
told you the intro is going to be hella extra, huh?
Yeah, it's hell extra,
I told him,
but
I
it's
was like, listen, when I hit record, it's showtime, baby. We gotta
yeah,
go. So,
yeah,
oh
yeah,
my God. I'm so excited. Look at you. It's so
yeah.
crazy that you're on screen and we're like here 3 years later doing this.
After
Okay.
3 years,
So
yeah.
I want you to go ahead and tell the people because I can say so much about you, but introduce yourself to the folks. Who is Goodness?
First of all, I would like to start with thank you for having me on the podcast,
Of course.
and thank you for being there by my side.
Oh.
You've been always there by my side, especially the past 3 years. It was really, really rough. It was a nightmare.
Mhm.
I remember you calling me, crying on the phone,
Oh.
talking about our families and all that. Especially 3 years ago, me and you talking about the core values and the meaning of this podcast and how we create the logo creation process. Like I'm happy to be on the podcast after 3 years. After things are better.
I know.
And especially thank you for putting the content and the values that you put out there. Especially, I believe most of the people it's gonna help them out. You know.
Yeah.
So thank you for
You're trying
everything.
to make me cry too early. This is supposed to be about you. I told him too. You guys, I'm not playing. I have tissues ready to go. Like I'm
Yeah,
serious. Yes. Oh, yeah, of course. Come on. You are literally like the same, right? Like keeping me sane. Like
yeah,
I'm like, "Bruh, if he hasn't given up, I'm not giving up." You know what I mean? Like you believed in it right away and you were like, "Oh, I can do this. I can help you this way." And I was like, "Oh my
yeah,
God, we can build this too." And it's like it's really rare to have like another like dreamer, in your family, like who really understands the hustle. And we'll get into that too. But it's like it yeah, I'm not gonna keep going because I'm gonna cry, but I want people to understand like you're just so phenomenal. And y'all, like, first of all, like they're probably like confused because your English is so good. Like, no, he's all the way back home where we're from. Grew up in Tigray, like just yeah. I was like, wow, okay, there's hope that if I was actually raised back home, that I would still end up like myself right now. Because if you
yeah,
can do it and you grew up there, it would have been harder because I'm a girl. But like I feel like I would
yeah,
have been able to be this same person. So okay, tell
yeah.
the people like you're yeah. Tell them how we're related too. Like, yeah, this is my blood
Okay.
family.
You, I know you're my cousin.
Yeah.
My auntie's daughter. You know, my dad's sister. We're cousins. And I remember me and you, we met in Makala. You came to Makala, and we just bonded like that. We had a conversation, you know,
Mm-hmm.
having the hustler mentality, you know, like so
Yeah.
many things to talk about. And
Yeah.
yeah, since then, we've been there, you know, for each other.
Oh, good times. Yeah, that was it. So we share a grandfather, and rest in peace to our grandfather. And um, you like when I went, my grandma was sick, and that's when I went. So that was 2017, I think.
Yeah, I
um
mean,
Something like that. And that was
yeah,
like before, because like all these other times, like I feel like I met your dad, but y'all were all like little kids,
yeah,
like
yeah.
the times that I went before that, all of them were like everybody was little kids, so like there was not really much to, to talk
Most-
about it too. I just be like, cool, hey, like, and then nobody really spoke English, so I was like, cool. Like
yeah,
you can't really connect because I can't tell my mom to translate like
yeah,
certain
yeah.
certain
I know.
things. I'm like, that's hella uncomfortable.
Yeah,
You can't have like a proper relationship that way. But then
yeah.
you were like speaking English and you were like a hip. I think were you in college then? I think you were like a newly like either a senior or like in college or something. But you were like, no,
Yeah, I
I'm a
was.
hustler. And I was like, what do you know about a hustle? Like I was like, hustle what? Like
That's what.
it's
Yeah,
super.
it's so embarrassing.
No,
Not
it's
even
so
a
cute.
feeling.
Like because I really think about it and it's like you actually are
Yeah,
really a hustler. But at the time I was just looking at you like you were like this teenage like kid and I was like, bro, chill, like be for real. Like what are
be
you
for
talking
real.
about? And then you were like, no, come with me. He was like, let's go to Katama. I'm gonna introduce you to my friends. We're gonna go to the cafe. And I was just like, okay, cool. He's literally
Okay, cool.
he's
Yeah,
like Rico Suave taking me through the town. I was like, wow, my cousin is popular. Like this
yeah,
was so
yeah. I
funny.
remember.
Oh man, good
Good old
times.
days.
But you were running businesses then. So what that was like you were telling me I'm an entrepreneur and I was like, "Really? I'm trying to be an entrepreneur." And I was like, "What do you do?" And then you were like when you started telling me I was like, "Oh, he's serious." Okay.
Yeah, yeah. You think I was joking at the first time?
Yeah. I did.
I got you.
I can tell the
I
truth
get
at
it.
least. I can tell the truth. Okay, tell the people what you were doing growing up in Adi. Like what was going on for you?
Okay. Yeah. Let's. Uh, where to start?
I know. Well, like for
Okay.
us, when we met, like I guess, how did you get to the nickname Hustle? Is the question really?
Okay. Back in high school, my parents, Tagaro parents, they are very, very restricted. They don't
Mhm.
even allow you to go outside. They think we're gonna get stolen, or even in high school. Can you imagine? So
I
my
can.
parents, yeah. Also, you know how my mom and dad are. You know how our parents
Exactly.
are. So they've been very, very restricted. They're like they're in a good status. They're my dad. He's a medical doctor. He's very famous. His name is Dr. Kinfe. Uh he's doing good. He was doing fine. But at
Mhm,
that time, like for us, I was the first child, so they were very, very hard on me.
mhm.
So they don't give you, like, they don't allow you to go out often. They don't want you to meet with people. They don't give you money. Like, it's just very limited. So
Yeah.
I grew up, and since I'm the first child, also, like, there's too much pressure and a lot of responsibilities.
Mhm.
So at certain age, my friends, they go out, they meet, they have a social life, but I don't.
Yeah.
You feel left out, and you don't know the reason why your parents are doing those things. It's for our now I realize it was for the sake of for the sake of good, but you
Yeah.
don't get it at that time, your child. So I had rough time while I was in child, because we moved from Addis Ababa to Mekelle. So my dad, he had to move to Mekelle, so I don't know the language. I'm different. They call me
Mhm.
Amhara.
Oh
It's a
no.
little different. It was my childhood was it was good, at the same time rough. I have to, like, learn Tigrinya. I have to
Mhm.
learn how to make money, how to socialize. I have forcefully.
Yeah.
And I remember how I started business. I was good with Photoshop. I was good with computers.
Mhm.
uh, before Android phones are famous, people used to make photos, like with 3 columns, 4 columns for social media, to post it on Facebook. So there is no editing software at the time. So my
Yeah.
friends, they used to come to my house, give me photos by Flash. I
Mhm.
put photos like in 3 column for them. I make them
Yeah.
pay small money. I give them, they post it. Simply, that's how I started Photoshop. Just a little bit skill, just putting
I love it. I
in,
love it.
yeah. So even to give me to come, they have to hide, because my parents, they don't want that. They want to protect you. Like, there's
Mhm.
a crazy mentality. I don't know why Tagaro parents have. They want to protect you. They I realized that we grew up in a bubble, under be protection. We don't know how the world it is. So I was in that bubble, like inside that bubble. So yeah, that's how we started. I started designing for my friends photos, images. So they started giving me money, getting payments. I started
Mhm.
hosting parties, events. I started designing flyers, and organizing events. I started a small amount of money, like for high school.
Yeah.
I'm doing fine. I'm buying all my friends drinks. I'm hustling, and my friends, they started calling me hustler, because I host events. They drink for free. They celebrate for free. No insurance, nothing. So they call me Hustler. So I put the name. I take the name Hustler. I try to, socialize with so many people, with other high school students, trying to hang out with all people who are running businesses. Trying to see so many things. So I believe that's how I get into the business. But as a behavior, I believe uh, back in the old days, I used to work even the whole night.
Mhm.
Even in high school, I used to work the whole night, like trying to do architect, trying to do technology, trying to do something. I'm always busy.
Yes.
So
I know.
I yeah, yeah. So when I was grade 10 or grade 9, I realized something. Okay,
Hmm.
like I have a lot of skills, I can build it, but what do I want? Do I want to build my skill, or do I want to start a business? Like how can I change it to money? Because at
Yeah,
that time I just had money. I have a good living environment, a good family, everything is good. I just
yeah,
need a little bit more money to be able on my own.
yeah.
So I started researching, trying to do what to do and what to see. So I get into software. I believe they give me patent on grade 10 for doing mathematics calculation software,
Oh
something
my
like
God.
that.
You're just a
Yeah,
nerd. Okay. I love
I
it.
was I was nerd at the same time popular. I'm always
That's why I said like we're the same. But do you see these
yeah,
glasses? I was so
yeah,
confused. Like people really like they're like, "Oh, you're so cool." I was like, "Bro, I read books for fun." Like,
yeah,
what do you mean? What are you talking about? Oh my
yeah,
God. No,
yeah.
this
I
is
know.
good. Okay, wait. I'm gonna stop you right there because I forgot to do something. And this,
Okay.
I feel like this story where you're about to lead us is where we're gonna go anyways. So before we go too far in, you mentioned something like early on in your intro, and this is something that I do in the show now, is like just like I checked on you throughout the whole time, I want to check in now. It's part of like I don't just, you know, teach mental health. I actually live it. I practice it daily. I'm always like taking care of that. So this part is the check-in. So all of that was
Yeah,
really great. So I hope people like were listening to that and they're like, wow, like you guys are really hella funny. Like this is the way that we have conversations, and like I hope it's
yeah,
clear to them why we're like closer as cousins, because these are like
yeah.
the conversations we're able to have. And so with this check-in, I want to ask you, how are you feeling now, right? So like in one word or one sentence, it can be about this week and about this month. It could be about your season in life that you're in. It can be about like, whatever, how big you want it to be or how small you want it to be. But I want to like take a second to be like, okay, let's check in, because like you were having a very fun childhood. You were definitely like living
Yeah.
a life, and this entrepreneurship obviously that started it, and then now you're like at a whole different level, which we're going to get into. But before we get into it, I want to just take a second to check in with you. Okay, so one word or one sentence.
Uh, I'm doing great. I'm doing good, but at the same time, I feel a little bit insecure.
Hmm.
Yeah.
Wow, thanks for that honesty. Okay.
Yeah.
Insecure, is there like context for that, like insecure about
Insecure.
life, insecure about like business,
Insecure.
insecure.
Yeah, I feel insecure about everything. Currently I'm in Addis, like you said, I'm currently in Addis. It's been
Hmm.
2 months since I came. I get
Hmm.
to meet my family now. I get to see my parents one by one. My family, they're coming from Tigray. I get to meet the people who are living here. Like it's
Yeah,
a dream. We all never thought this day will come. We're back,
exactly. Yeah,
living stable, and we get to see our parents. But I feel insecure through the due to the experiences I had.
yeah,
We thought everything is good. Everything was good. In one day, everything is upside down. Everything shifted. We're in a war. We can see our family. We can talk to them. There's insecurity. So I don't feel stable or secure. But I'm happy currently for seeing my family, for seeing my parents. They're doing okay. Like we get to talk about this. you know like
yeah,
I'm happy, but at the same time there's insecurity with life in general. Like it's unpredictable with the COVID, with the war, with
yeah,
everything, with the inflation and everything.
yeah. No, thank you for sharing that, because it's true, and that like we had this conversation before the recording anyway. So I never know if people are gonna like share it, so I never share that for people.
Mm. Yeah,
Um, but that's true, and that's what like we've been talking about, because literally, like taking it back to like your intro and just like sharing like how you were on that path, like your dad is a doctor, right? So and not just a doctor, a surgeon, you know what I'm saying? Like he is an
yeah,
orthopedic surgeon, right? So it's like he has been very impacted and like on the front lines the whole time, right?
Yeah.
So it's like there's that, and then what that means for you, because you were like just getting out of like not college, but like getting out of high school into college, like starting to like decide what that looks like for you. You know what I mean? And then it's like, oh, let me just like, it's like somebody literally was like, you know what, the world, it makes too much sense. Let's spin it the other way. Like, let's
Yeah. Yeah.
do this in reverse. Like,
Yeah.
who the hell asked for that? Like, I really want to know who
Yeah.
decided to flip that
Yeah.
switch, because like it was like literally, I remember for me, and I like would, obviously you share what it was for you. Like this was the timeline for us. Like, so we'll pick it up from this timeline. So you were like, if you guys remember, he's talking about he started with photos, which I don't remember you sharing with me, but it's hilarious and it makes so much sense because when I like was checking in with him, it was just like in the middle of the pandemic. I had started the show, but like I didn't do any like real branding or anything. And I was telling you about like, oh, I started this podcast, blah, blah, blah. And you were like, oh, I can help you with that. Like I can make your logo. I have a printing company, like, because you were telling me about your business, and we'll get into it. But he's like, he literally like has elevated to being like not just pictures, but he was like, I can make your logo. I can help you with like your design and marketing and whatever stuff you want to do. And so that was literally in the summer, like a few months into starting the podcast, not even like literally a month, like a month starting into the podcast, like at the very beginning, because I launched the first episode in April. And then literally right now, as we record, this last week was the week that you finished the logo. So like as soon as I started the podcast, you were like there from the very beginning to like help me decide what the branding was going to look like. We talked about all these things. And then flash forward a few months later, like
Yeah.
I recorded the second season. I was like ready to like relaunch, and like I had organized everything. And then it was election night for us in the States. And it was like, I just kept seeing on my timeline, like Tigray under attack, like, whatever. Like it was just so wild. And I was like, what the, like, I was like, I was going to cuss, but I was like, what is going on? And I went on like IG Live and I was like, is anybody else seeing this? Like, is this real, or is this like some type of joke on my timeline right now? Like, what is happening in Ethiopia? And then the phone lines were just cut. So I literally was like, I don't know. So that's literally like, it went from there to then not being able to talk to you guys. I don't remember when we were able to finally get in contact, like probably 6 months in or something. Like,
Yeah. After the communication, after I get back to us, after I travel.
yeah.
Yeah, it was a long time.
A very long time. So like that is like setting us up. Like if you think about it, it was like in that time before that, you had a fully functioning business.
Yeah.
That was like your fully, like I was like, wow. And I was talking to you about how to manage, because you were like, cuz this is so
Yeah.
stressful. I have so many you were like, I have
Influence.
so many employees.
How do I manage them? Like, yeah, I remember that day.
I was like, what do you mean? So I was like, oh, he wasn't joking. He really is a hustler. You got employees? I was like,
Yeah.
what? I was like, more than one? Like,
Oh,
I was
yeah.
like, I can't even get my freaking cousins to help me do this podcast. But you had like, I think it was like what, 10 or 15 people working for you? Like,
Yeah, 15 people, yeah.
and you were how old at that time?
I don't know, 20, 21, 20, 20, 21, I think, 22, something like that. I don't remember. I've been in the business for a long time, so
First of all, you are not that old. Relax.
yeah.
Relax. Okay. He's trying to make himself old. No, if you make
Was
yourself old, that makes me hella old. So slow down. Okay,
Slow down.
so
All right.
it make to me basically I said all that to say that I can understand why for you the check-in is insecure because you went from like stability to complete chaos, and like I
Mm,
think up until that point you didn't really experience that much like
yeah.
turbulence. You had a very like stable kind of upbringing. There wasn't like too many difficulties. So to go from that to like complete like lack of control, like everything is just like wild. Like I swear, like I can't watch movies the same because I was like, this is people's real life. Like, you know,
Yeah.
like that's literally somebody's real life. I had a crazy dream last night actually, and I was like in jail. Like I was like captured. And I was like, "Oh, is that what that felt like for you? Because you literally couldn't move."
Yeah. 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 It
So
was rough. Yeah.
I know I'm bringing up a lot, so take some time if you need to. Um, but that I just wanted to say like that makes sense for me. Your check-in, like why that would feel that way. Is there anything like you would want to add on your end of like that, like because you it's been 3 years, right? Of like just like everything being chaotic. So now that you're sitting here and thinking about that, does it connect to you why you would like still feel insecure right now? Because you're just now getting back up on your feet like properly.
Yeah. Yeah. Now I feel insecure, but like I learned something at the same time. My parents. I remember the day the war started. Like
Mm-hmm.
my parents were ready, but I was the one who was not ready. But they were ready. Like they were prepared. My mom, she had to do grocery for 6 months. My dad, he had to like put medicine. He had to put cash. Like when I realized it at the in the war, when the war started, I see my parents and I was like, oh, this is for real. They've been prepared. But me, like I'm stupid, and how many people are like me who are not ready? Imagine. So I realized that's insecurity. I see that insecurity that I'm feeling on them because on their generation they had to go through the things I had to go through. You feel me?
Mm-hmm.
So even when you see the history, when you see history, like we're not stupid. We have to research. We have to do. You have to learn from your mistake. Like if you're gonna do your mistake again, like that's the problem is on you. You know.
Yeah.
So when I see that insecurity, I see it on my parents. They've been feeling that insecure and they've been preparing, but they have no choice. They don't want to leave their country. They're there. But me, I don't know, like there's that insecurity, but at the same time you have to stay here, and you don't feel comfortable, you want to leave your country at the same time.
Mm-hmm.
It's a weird feeling, like it's hard to settle in,
Mm-hmm.
to be able to get back to the, to the person you used to be. Like I told you earlier, our parents, they let us grow in a bubble. They've been protecting us from bad things, from a lot of things. The world is not safe. Now I realize the world is not safe. You can never be dependent on the government. You can never be independent on private institutions. Like everything is all about business or on for mutual benefit. Like for if it's gonna benefit someone and you're on the way, maybe they will remove you easily. So
Mm-hmm.
we're not a priority. We're just existing in one level,
Yeah.
So it me that I learned that our parents, they've been protecting us. We've been living on a bubble, and when the war happens, there's no bubble. Like
Yeah.
all hits you in. Like people take your money, people betray you, people lie, people even kills you.
Yeah.
Like it was rough. So when I think about it now, I feel a little bit relieved, but at the same time, that there is that insecurity that I can never put or I can never ignore.
Yeah. And I can tell too because I can tell you're still processing because like you're saying it lightheartedly,
Yeah,
like because I think it's still hard to like really tap into the emotion of what that actually feels like, you know?
yeah,
Like
yeah,
because like as you're talking about it, like I can feel like the tears at the back of my eyes because like for me on this end, okay, I probably can't like do it without. I'd be trying to be like an emotional gangster, and I'm really like I'm really soft on the inside. Like,
Yeah.
ooh. But like for me, like just like you kind of felt your bubble really burst, it really felt like that for me too, except for I didn't have the like physical experience you were having, if that makes
Yeah.
sense. Cause
Yeah.
like it was for me, it was like, oh my god, it's like somebody's like holding my hands, like like when you're really mad and you want to go fight somebody, and then like somebody's like holding you back and you can't fucking hit them, so you're like
Yeah.
hella mad. Like
Yeah.
maybe this
Yeah.
isn't like an appropriate example, guys. Violence is not the answer, okay? But
It's
if you've
not the answer.
you have a younger brother, okay, so you understand what I'm talking about. I have a younger brother, and when you
Yeah.
have a younger sibling that irritates the like living heck out of you, and you just like want to go at them, but then your parents block you, right? Like you can't, like you know what I'm saying, like your friends block you, so you're just like mad, you know what I mean? Like you're just sitting there hella frustrated, and you're like, why is nobody letting me do you not see the problem here? And it was like for me, I was like watching through my phone, and I was like, yo, this isn't real. Like there's
Yeah.
no way this is real. Like I don't, I was like, no. Like I was just like that, because then you're just watching it. And this is what I kept trying to tell people like in the diaspora. I was like, don't watch the videos, because like the videos would like traumatize the hell out of you, because like we're literally watching like thing like from hella far away, and then being like, I know you, I can touch you, you're my family, but I'm like so far away, I literally can't do shit, you know? Like I
Yeah.
literally can't do anything. So I literally felt like I was like this, like
So it
suffocating.
was not easy. Yeah.
No, like I just felt like I was suffocating, because I was like, oh my God, like my family is under attack and I can't do anything about it. Like, what can I do? And I'm like, okay, like that's why you go out in the streets and you're like protesting and you're trying to get anybody to care. So it's like, I hear what you're saying on your end. It's like people that you imagine to be there to support you, to love you, to help you, but in the time where like it's utter chaos, there's people abusing that situation, there's people like coming in and like will take your life because theirs is on the line too, you know?
Yeah.
And it's just
Yeah.
like that's hella traumatizing, because like before that, like the Tigray we were just talking about, where we met each other and where we connected, like that's not the Tigray that like you guys lived under for the last 3 years. You know what I'm saying? Like, and that makes me hella sad, because it's like I'm also hella grateful that like like when we were talking on the phone, I was like, I'm just so grateful that I can talk to you on the phone and that you're here, but it doesn't take away from the fact that you went through all of that, you know? Like it
Yeah.
doesn't take that away. Like it doesn't take that away from me too, that like my life was on pause, like I couldn't breathe correctly for 3 years cuz I was worried about if you were going to be here, you know? Like,
Yeah. Yeah.
whoa, okay. I knew that like there's no way we could do this conversation and not be emotional,
No
cuz
emotions. Yeah. I
yeah,
know.
it's too hard, cuz I guess like to give it context, right? Like we're saying 3 years ago, you made my first logo, you know? And it's like I wasn't sure that you were ever going to be able to make me another one, you know? And that was like heartbreaking. I was like, "Oh my God." Like at least I have this. Like I kept telling myself like at least I have this. He's going to be fine. Like I was like he's going to be fine. He's going to be fine. Like I had to like keep telling myself that, cuz like try to even think the opposite was like not gonna work for me. So I don't know for you, like mentally, like how you even like daily, like we talked about it before, but it's like for you, what was your experience? Because you were like shut out from the world. Like for all I know, you could have been thinking we forgot about you, you know?
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, it's in the past now. I guess it's gonna be okay. I don't want you
No,
being
it's
all
not
that
about me. I
emotional.
want like I know you have feelings too. Like I know it was not easy for you.
Yeah, it was like everything was good. Like before the war, everything was good. Like it was not everything was not good. Like there's political issues, but not to that extreme. Everything was good. I get to see my dad. I get to see my mom. I was studying in Mekelle University at that time. When the war started, I was a graduate student. So uh, everything was good. I had business, and I had like we talk about. I had like almost 15 employees under my company, and I'm
Yeah,
studying at the university at the same time. I'm doing business. I'm focusing on my education, and my family are around, and my cousins, everybody. Like everything was good, until one day everything shifts. I get up, I wake up, and there's no lights, there's no phone. I have to go to the office to check on my staff, employees. I went there, everybody's clueless, waiting for my decisions. Nothing to do, there's no power. And I
yeah.
have to go to the city to meet with people, and like everybody's talking like the war started. And
Mm.
last night there was a shooting in the city. So it was like the war started. Like, oh shit, this is real. This is real. Like I told you, my parents they've been preparing, but me and like people like me, like about the rest of the people who's not getting prepared. Let's say there is a employees who
Mm.
take salary monthly basis, and their salary they cannot even save a penny because they live out of their money. They eat. They like it's not enough. So
And you
there's
were
no power,
doing
nothing, no
printing,
bank.
right?
Huh?
I was like, that was when you were doing the printing.
Yeah, the printing business at that time. Yeah.
Mm.
At that time, the printing business grew rapidly. It grew into printing and packaging at the same time after
Mm-hmm.
COVID. So it was everything was good. Everything was good, especially for my age. I was doing very good. I was about to grow into branches. I was able to travel international. Everything
Yeah,
was good. Then the war happens. There's nothing you can do. Like no
yeah,
telecommunication, no electric, nothing. Everybody's depressed,
yeah,
and everybody's talking like rumors that this is what happened, this is that, like so many things, so many different things. But like when I panic, I'm that kind of person who's quiet, like just
mm,
observe. I just keep quiet, and I think that's a bad thing because you keep everything to yourself. It's really bad.
yeah,
So I was just quiet, like I couldn't be like in the circle. The people were talking, so I went to the office. I think about like I was stuck. I couldn't do anything. So we went home. We have to check our family, and like it's a long process, and it was rough. So I had to make decisions. I have to let go of my employees because I know my business is a luxury for that time. Who's gonna
yeah.
print? It's a
Well,
luxury.
how can you print with no electricity?
How can, yeah, with no electricity, with no resources, no
Mm.
banking, like you cannot receive payments. So like I had to let go of my employees. Imagine I have to let go of 15 employees. You used to
Yeah,
pay them every month's salary, and you have to let go of them. And you're letting go of them in the worst time, in the bad time,
yeah,
where they needed the money the most.
yeah. And I mean,
So
but what
like,
can you do? You literally don't
yeah, well,
have an
there's
income. You have no
yeah,
revenue.
but as a business owner, the people like your employees, they trust you. They're there
Yeah.
working for you, and making that decision is a little bit hard. It's
Oh, for
not easy.
sure. It's
Yeah, it's
not
not easy.
easy. It's not
Not
easy at
easy.
all. I'm like, as your cousin, I'm just reminding you, like, it's completely out of your control. Like,
It's, yeah, I know. Yeah,
if you had the money to pay them, you would give it to them. But like
yeah.
literally, there's no revenue. There's nothing coming
There's
in.
nothing, and also it's a startup company. It's been like
Yeah,
1 or 2 years old, like since it's established at the business. 1 year maximum, 1 or something years, like that. It's not
yeah,
like if it's the company is not even 2 years, like it's not in that level. It's just growing, reinvesting the incomes that we get.
yeah.
Yeah, it was
I
it
remember
was
because I was like, we
it was
talked about
tough.
the plan. We had a
Yeah,
whole conversation about how we were going to help you scale and manage that scale because I was
Yeah.
like, you are a designer, you're not a
Yeah.
manager. So you have to learn how to be a manager. And then
Yeah.
once you do that, you can like delegate and then you can go back to being a designer. And so we had a
Exactly.
whole plan.
Conversation. Yeah. A whole
Whole
plan.
conversation. Like I was like, "Oh, cuz I have a whole degree in this. I'm going to help you figure out the operations." And then it was
Yeah.
like JK like just pulled the freaking plug.
Yeah. Like
Like
with with a single day, in one day everything shifts. So from all that situation, from all that, I went to we, there's nothing like I told you the war happened. So I'm in that situation. I'm in my parents' house, and you just get up, you eat, you sleep, get up, you see politics, and like there is a shooting, airstrike. So everybody have to like nest in the basement so that it's there's a little bit of protection.
yeah.
Like it was I and like it creates a lot of stress being able with my family sitting there. Like I'm lucky, lucky to sit with your family, but for me it was very stressful because I have a lot of responsibility. I'm the kind of person that like I like to take actions, and there's nothing I can do. I'm sitting there like useless,
I know.
consuming.
It's
Yeah,
hard.
it's yeah, consuming whatever they had.
Yeah.
Like you cannot contribute. Just you're just taking and
Yeah.
consuming. So it was very very rough. So after I believe after 1 or 2 months, I decided to I decided I need to get out of the region. But
Yeah.
before that, I remember a story. My friend,
Oh
he
gosh.
called me. That there is no
So your
telecommunication.
story is so wild, but I want you to tell. Go ahead.
Yeah, yeah. So at that time, after the war, the
Mhm.
TPLF they tried to start the telecommunication, the telephone only locally without any charge, only locally, like only locally using the towers that there is the infrastructure that existed.
Yeah.
So my friend he called me and he told me, bro, like we need to leave, we need to get out of this region. And I was like, what? No, we can't. Like, how can you say that? We need to be
Mhm.
there for our family. Like, we need to help them out. We have to be there. Like, how could you say that? And he was like, yeah, yeah, you're right. Okay. Like, he was like, oh, all right, you're right. We need to stay. And after a week, I just called him and I said, bro, we need to get out. Bro, we need to get out
I
ASAP.
don't blame you
I
because
need to get out of this region.
you were like
Yeah.
what 2023 maybe.
No, I was 22, 21, something like that.
Still, yeah, you were a baby. Like,
Yeah, it was rough. I told him we need to get out. Like, we need to get out. I make a decision. Like I told you, there's nothing I can do. I
yeah,
can't even protect my sisters. And like as a man, like you have sisters, you have mom, and you can do anything. You cannot protect them. Like I cannot. I can't sit down there and see a lot of things.
yeah,
And we were in Mekelle, so the rumors you heard from the from those other cities is not good. It's
yeah,
very terrifying. It's not good. So I make that decision, and I told my dad one day I just asked him and like, Dad, we need to talk, and
mm,
I told him that I'm gonna leave. I decided I have to leave. I don't know way. I don't have ways. I don't know how to leave, but I have to leave. So I'm just telling you. I just don't want to get up and leave without telling you guys. I don't want you. I don't want to add another stress or another burden for you guys. So
yeah,
I'm just telling you. I'm just not asking for even a permission. I'm just telling you. And he
yeah,
said like he was very sad. He was like he was really really sad. Imagine.
yeah,
So he think for a minute and he respond. I can tell you to stay. I can tell you to go. If I tell you to stay and if something bad happens, I'm not gonna forget that. I'm gonna regret that for the rest of my life. And if
mhm,
you left and on the way on that path, if something bad happens to you, like there's nothing I can do. So the
yeah,
only thing I can do is I can help you with prayers. Like I'm just
yeah.
gonna wish you luck. There's a saying he said, "መንገዱን ጨርቅ ያርግልህ."
Wait,
Literally,
I'm like getting emotional because I'm like I'm thinking about my uncle. He's not like he's
it's
really not a sentimental guy. Like he's not like a
yeah,
emotional guy at all. So like I literally just pictured him sitting there like, what day?
yeah,
Like what am I gonna
yeah,
do? Like you're my
yeah,
baby, but like what can I literally do? And like he's also a man, so he's like I understand that feeling of like, you know, he really
yeah,
like, he did it. He's been that responsible. He's the same one. He's responsible. He's the one that takes care of everybody. So I
yeah,
think I told you that before. I was like, he has a hard time because he respects you because he's the same. Like you guys are like you guys
yeah,
literally act the same. It's like wild.
yeah, yeah, yeah. We have a lot of things in common. Yeah. So
Yeah.
that's what he told me. So I told my mom. She was said, no, no, there's so many things. But I told her, chill out. I don't know what's gonna happen, but like, let's just see. So I found a way. I there's a I was in like I told you, I was in Mekelle University, so I had Mekelle University ID. So I
Mhm.
went to the university, like gather information how to leave the region. I heard there's a rumors that the NGO they hosted a military force to come to
Mhm.
Tigray and take the people's diaspora students out of the region. So
Mhm.
I knew that information. So I started digging in,
Yeah.
but I realized that it's not true. The administration at the time, they were taking money from the people from the diaspora community to make
Oh
them
god.
travel
Yeah.
by literally the NGO hosted the, the transportation, but they were taking money from them. So unless you pay, they don't let you out. So I
Mm.
took taxi straight to the Air Force, and I went there and I tried to talk to the people. I told them I'm a Mekelle University student. I have to leave the country, like I need
Mhm.
to go. My parents are waiting for me in Addis. And at
Mhm.
that time, I had an apartment also in Addis. I was coming back and front for studying and to see my parents at the same time. And also, I
Mhm.
used to live in Addis because doing small business, importing some small items.
Yeah.
So I went there. I took it took me the whole day. I have to like talk with the generals, colonels, like beg them.
Yeah. When you told
So
me the story, I was like, this is so ridiculous. Like, I was like, oh my God. Like, all the movies we watch are really real. Like,
yeah, yeah, yeah,
okay, I'm with you. I'm with you. I
yeah,
remember the story. Like, the way
yeah,
you
yeah.
got out, I was like, no
It was
way.
funny. Yeah.
Yeah.
So it was funny. I never thought it would happen. Without paying anything, I had to like so they let me pass. I tried to you know what helped me? I think I had an ID card, Addis Ababa's ID card. My passport was from Addis. Like
Mhm.
that give them a clear image that I really wanna go to Addis. So they let me pass.
Mhm.
So that was like even the plane, it's Antonov. The big for military they use. Like there's
Yeah.
like 500 people with luggage, and you have to put your luggage yourself. You're sleeping in the floor, sitting down. Like it was rough, but thankfully we landed in Debrecen. So I had to go from Debrecen to Addis. Then after I came to Addis, like even when ambulance they on the road, like it makes you terrified. Like the
The
sounds, the people,
noise.
you're
Yeah.
scared. There is insecurity. There's that feeling.
Yeah,
So
because you're
yeah,
really
that's
running for your life. Like you don't have, you know,
yeah,
it's like not
yeah.
a way back. Like I feel like once you leave, like you cannot just get back if you want to go back.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Even after I came to Addis, like I was not able to catch up with the people, even with my family. Like I was distant in my home. Like I just visit all of them once. That's
Mhm.
it. 2 3 weeks, I was like silent, depressed, sitting
Mhm.
down in the house. Just you know how it is. And like I told you, when I'm in a bad situation, I'm the kind of person who runs into his cave. I just deal with myself. I don't like to, you know, I don't like to get involved with people. So
Yeah.
it was rough. And when what makes me angry after I came to Addis, like everybody's celebrating, chilling, living their life like nothing happened.
Mhm.
Like nothing happened. The
Mhm.
worst part, even after you come, the people, the things they talk, it's very bad. Like direct, it's very very bad. It's negative.
Yeah.
So like being able to adjust in that environment was very rough.
Yeah.
But yeah, it is what it is. After I came to Addis, I I realized after 3 years that I this is what I realize now after 3 years. At that
Mhm.
time, after I came to Addis, I had a fight with myself. I couldn't work. I couldn't work on designs. I couldn't do coding. I could like the work I used to do in my laptop. I
Yeah.
couldn't. I had that disconnect with myself, with that personality. I just disconnected. So I went to jump. I went to trading straight away. Selling stuff, buying from Mercato to Adi, from Dubai to this country. Like I couldn't do like my professional jobs. I completely shifted and turned my focus into other stuff
Yeah.
because it took that away from me. Like I invested my time, like especially when you're young, your
Yeah.
friends, they're out drinking, they're living life,
Yeah.
like the age how it is. So you had to make a lot of sacrifice to get these results. You have to yeah, your social life is fucked up. uh you had to like spend more time on your work. Like there's less time with your family, less time for yourself. Like it's a lot of investment, knowledge, money, everything. So
Mm.
he just unplugged it, and they just took it all.
Yeah.
They took it all. So like I had that, I lost that person, that side of me. So I
Mhm.
couldn't work. I can only work in a different things. Like I couldn't work in graphics. You know what I'm trying to say, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So that's
No, I was
that's
just thinking like yes, because I had the same experience of like, well, what the hell am I supposed to do now? Like, because nothing. I don't know if this sentence makes sense to you, but like when I realized that the world was really a scam, because like when that happened, like I remember it being really dumb. Okay, let me not say that because like somebody probably thinks this way. You're not dumb. You're just like you're young and like people have lied to you. Okay, because I
yeah,
remember I don't even know why I thought like these type of things don't happen. Because it just feels like a fairy tale. I'm like, we're in the 21st century. Why the hell are we still doing this? You know what I'm saying? And I
yeah,
had this like very false narrative that like they like to make a story about Ethiopia like like oh it's the modern nation and it's growing so fast and like everybody likes to prop it up so big because living in America you want to be proud like they do not
yeah.
like an African immigrant here.
It's
It's
not
not.
fun.
No, 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 no. It's not like we get like the women we get fetishized for our looks, you know? Like that's literally it. But like when you're an immigrant in this country, like you guys see the way Donald Trump talks about Mexicans in this country, talked about Latinos and like that racism, it like your default no matter what because people like to debate this, you're seen as black in this country and we also know how black people are treated in this country, but like globally. So then when you're also an immigrant and you don't even understand any of this context, like growing up here is like extremely confusing, but somehow like you want to find pride because like when Ethiopia looks good, you look good because now people are like, "Oh, you're Ethiopian?" Like, "Oh, I heard about that country." And they hear good things instead of like, "Oh, you guys are poor and there's a famine and like it used to be like the starving kids on commercials all the time, like from the
Yeah,
80s. So then we were like the starving African kids that they made fun of when we were little. But then as Ethiopia got better, we also become like better too. Cause like, oh, everybody's like, oh, I love that country in Ethiopia. Like, I love that country. Like, they're so cool and they're so good. Like, so you just have like this identity that forms from this country. And a lot, like, I got to spend some time there, but not everybody has even gotten that experience. So they don't even know, like, actually, our people really are that amazing. Like it is beautiful. And there's also really hard things about this country still, and it's going in the right direction. But then, with the war like starting the way that it did, I was just like had this false idea, like you, of like, this isn't real. Like, why would we go to war? Like that, like with
yeah,
ourselves. Like it just in my mind, I was like, it's the 21st century. Why the hell would we be bombing our own people? Like, and then I thought about it. I was like, why wouldn't we? like there's so many countries that are at war, like besides ours, and
Yeah.
for some reason you just think it's not going to happen to you.
Yeah.
Like, what do you mean? Like 9/11 happened when I was in elementary school. We had terrorist attacks in the US, and they are so paranoid that we never, like, they're like trying to make sure we never have one of those again. But we have terrorists in our country. We have mass shootings like every day, right? So like, why do I think that the rest of the world is not violent? And it's because not just I grew up, but a lot of adults, we don't want to scare children with the reality. But I feel like, no, tell us the truth so we can prepare for actual reality, and we don't become adults and we're sitting here like, you prepared me to be a successful person in this reality, in a normal world where bombs are not like flying over my head. I'm not prepared for this reality
The problem.
where they are. Like, what?
Nothing going on.
Like, I can understand why you were pissed, because I also was like, then what the hell is the point? That's what I really thought to myself. What is the point of everything I'm doing? Does it even freaking matter? Like, it who cares? If you can just do this, like, does it even matter? Like, I really started thinking like, well, if I'm going to spend my time doing this, it has to make sense for a reason. Like, I have to be able to impact somebody's life some way, or this has to be about my survival. Like the meaning of life just completely shifted.
Yeah, yeah. Yeah, you're
So,
right. I can relate. After I left the country, I had I learned something that I thought only like African countries go to war. Like the problem is only in Ethiopia, maybe with Syrian people or something. Some like you put a lot of philosophies on your head. But the
mhm,
thing is, I learned that even in Turkey, I've lived there almost a year. You can never trust the government. Anything can happen right away. Even Ukraine, you can see. Even United
mhm,
Arab Emirates, there were bombing or shootings at some period of time. Even
mhm,
UAE is like the most secure country.
mhm,
So there's no guarantee. We're not priority as individual. We're not priority. Like we're
mhm.
just not priority. We just have to accept that first.
Yeah.
So like anything, if we're in on the way of somebody like some powerful in a government or it's like anything, we're not safe. If you're
Mhm,
on the way, they're just gonna put you out of the way. So obviously, like wherever you go, we're not safe. So we need to be able to be sharp, read a lot of books, prepare ourselves, and need to be able to have that survival skill wherever you go. Like most of the people, most of my friends, they don't know that. Like I was able to learn that the past 3 years. It was a good experience. Like I'm glad I get to go through that. But I can see most of people they don't have that skill, they don't have that experience. They're
mhm.
just lazy or they don't have that opportunity. I don't know, like it's, so many reasons. It's not safe. So
Yeah.
I learned that it's not safe, like you said.
Yeah. I don't know if I would say lazy. I feel like it's fear, you
It's
know?
fear, maybe.
I
Yeah.
feel like it's very much fear, because if we think about your story, and like how much I see of myself in it, is because you already had a dream, right? Like you already had a hustle, and you already overcame your fear to start chasing it. You know what I'm saying?
Mm,
It's like most people don't go into business because they're afraid of failing. You know
yeah.
what I'm saying? Like, to be an entrepreneur, to have like a vision, a thought, an idea in your mind, and to make it a real tangible thing, like it takes courage, right? Like it takes action, it takes discipline, and it really takes like self-awareness, because you have to acknowledge like what you don't know how to do, and like figure it out. You know what I mean? And you're like, "Oh my God," like as you are becoming more and more like successful in your business, you also start to see where you're weak at, because like it's the things that your business is suffering, you know like when we were having the conversation about management, and you were like, I don't know how to manage all these people. Like, it's like, yeah, because it's a skill, right? Like it's like, trying to build a business is like you're gonna look in the mirror every day, because you, like you said, you're working on it constantly, because you're like, oh my God, if I don't work, then my business isn't gonna work. And we have to change that mentality of like, no, actually, to be really successful, your business should run with or without you, because that means you built it correctly, right? But that's something you learn along the path, but you're not going to learn if you don't try, right? Like if you
Yeah,
don't put yourself out there. And I think a lot of people like grew up the same way with your, like the same way your parents were strict. They were trying to be strict with us here in America. They just had less control. Like some
yeah,
parents were way more strict, but you know my mom, she's she's not. She tries.
He's not,
She
yeah.
tries. But I'm also very flexible. So there's like two different things happening. But for the most part, like if you've been protected your whole life and like everything's been planned for you, then something has to happen. There has to be something in you that like you're like, I'm gonna go do this thing that my parents don't necessarily approve of and I don't necessarily have the experience to do. And you have to have courage to do that. Like I
Yeah,
think most people, they learn to be afraid, and they learn to, like how you said, they wait for orders because that's what they've got
uh,
their whole life. If your parents have been giving you orders your whole life, or your community has been giving you orders your whole life and you're just continuing to do it, then you trying to think of your own thought and do it is going to be scary because you don't have support. Like
yeah,
it's just like, oh shoot, if I do this and I fail, it's my fault. I can't blame anybody else,
yeah,
you know? And I think
yeah,
that's really what it is. Like I feel like laziness a lot of times, yes, we could just be lazy because we're tired. Like that's really what we're saying, right? But I feel like that whole like I'm unmotivated, maybe you're actually depressed and that's why you're
yeah,
showing up as lazy, or you're afraid and you're showing up as like, oh, I'm just lazy, or somebody told you you were dumb and lazy, so you just keep acting that way because you believe it, you know?
yeah, yeah,
So that's the only thing I would push back on. But I think everything else you're saying is real. Like you like, yeah. The fact that you got out of Addis, like maybe there's some, let me just connect some dots for them and like what you were saying. Like you got out of Addis, you started like after you sat like and you were like alone for some time, you began trading because you have to survive. Like you need to have money. You can't use the banking system. Like you can't like get money from, Tigray. Like that's not gonna happen. So you're
yeah,
like trading, you're doing business, and then at some point you decided to go to Turkey and try like your luck there, and ran into like lots of obstacles over there, and then came back to Addis, or you went like either way, the whole time you came back and you continued to still try to hustle and be an entrepreneur. Most people would have gave up a long time ago, by the way.
yeah, yeah, I know. Yeah,
So that's what I'm saying. Like you just got a healthy amount of courage and bravery.
thank you.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's from what I see. Like most of our friends, even like the people who grew up with us around, like everything is provided to them. Everything is ready. Everything's set up. Like they don't have to worry about survival. They don't have to worry about anything. Like they're dependent on their family and all that. But I choose to not, like. Here's the thing. Like I had this friction with my dad. There's a competition that I want to prove him wrong, that I can be strong, powerful, and better than him without his support. So I had that, like, I
Mm.
call it negative. I would take it negative. It's not good. It's
It's,
not
it's
healthy.
it's very
But I
stubborn.
want to I want to prove him something. So I build my business from scratch without, like, trying to prove something to myself, to show my parents, like Habesha parents, they don't want you to focus on business. They want you to study, like the
Hmm.
ordinary lifestyle. You study, you get your degrees, you get employed.
Hmm.
That's the route they know. Like you can't blame them because that's how they survive. So that's
Yeah.
what they expect. But I force them into not going their path. I make them bend into my direction. Like I force
Yeah.
them.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like I was in that situation, and everybody's in that situation. So it's all about decisions. What you do, like
Mm.
being able to be confident on yourself that you can achieve anything. You can start from scratch. You can
Hmm.
do, like, everybody. Everybody starts with a dream or interest.
Hmm.
Just that's it. That's
Yeah.
it. Then you have to find a way. You have to research You have to ask, how do I get it? What do I
Mm,
want? What are the steps? Like, okay,
mhm.
what type of habits do I need in my life? What do I have to do? It starts with the simple questions, and with internet on our hands these days, even AI is advancing. It's
Yeah,
easy to learn, it's easy to grow. But
yeah,
people like, nah, I'm just gonna see what's up. And
yeah,
when bad things happen, like unexpectedly, let's say your parents are not gonna be with you for the rest of your life,
yeah.
and there's a lot of unpredictable things happening, like the COVID, the war, and all
Mhm.
that. Like, I think that experience helped me out, and I've been in the business for a long. I started from high school, so it's
Yeah.
just normal paths, but I just started earlier. That's
Mhm.
what helped. I just started earlier, so like
Yeah.
you get that experience and you learn. I decided I want to form a company while I was in fresh in campus,
Yeah.
because I had a problem with clients. I was good in selling products, like selling whatever I had, what I created. But the
Mhm.
problem is I was getting way too much orders, and I end up fighting with clients because there is deadline. You have to
Mhm.
deliver. So I learned that I cannot keep up like this. I need employees, I need staff, I need to be able to get thousand orders and be able to process them the same way, and like get that customer trust. So you learn all this through the, I think, experience, and it
Yeah.
push you life or it push you into that direction. But people are just they don't see it.
Hey y'all, it's your girl Hanna. Just interrupting you for just a little moment to remind you, if you have not, go check out the website uprootednetwork.com. Whether you're new here or you've been following for a long time, you know that this is a space for those of us who have been having to navigate life very completely differently than the cultures we might be a part of. So whether that means you're an immigrant, maybe you're the first generation to change the narrative, maybe you're an entrepreneur, you're a dream chaser in some type of way, and you're believing for a better life. So obviously, Uprooted Network resonated with you, and we have been scaling out services, trying to build this into a bigger community for you all. And also, I'm launching all types of management consulting services and personal and professional group coaching this summer. I really have a big heart for those of you who are students, those of you who maybe haven't had an opportunity to get this type of development before. I'm going to be offering it at a very reasonable price because you know what? I want to knock down those obstacles and barriers. I try to do it the way that everybody else does, and it wasn't working. So we're going to do it the uprooted way. I want y'all to make sure go check out the website uprootednetwork.com, and now you can go back to your episode.
That's why I said sometimes like life forces you to see it, you know? Like it forces you to have to grow up. It forces you because you're in survival. You know what I mean? You got to do what you got to do to survive. And like the people who can't like tap into that creativity, because I think like something you said that was really important is like you have to ask yourself, like, what is it that I really want to do? What is it that I really am passionate about? Do you know how many people are stuck? They can't answer that question. Like
Yeah,
they're just sitting there like, I don't know, because nobody's ever asked them, what do you want to do? They've only ever told them what they're supposed to do. You know what I'm saying? So if you don't even have the mindset to be like, oh, actually, what do I want? I don't even know because I never spent any time thinking about what do I want. I only ever thought about what does somebody else want. You've been trained to be a worker your whole life. Of course you're not going to know how to be a builder or an entrepreneur or a visionary because like it's intentionally taken out of you. Like we tell people not to daydream, not to play, go work hard, but you have to dream, you have to play so that you can come up with a new idea, like you have to have like that part of your life. But if you only ever worked and you never had time to really think about what do I actually want, what would actually make me fulfilled as a person, what would actually make me happy, of course it makes sense to me why you get stuck at that question, because it can feel kind of like, well, what's the point? Even if I tell you what I want, it's not going to be what I can do because they've already
mm,
been like defeated in their mind. Like that's why I keep trying to say, like, I don't think you give yourself credit that you have like a really like sharp like persistent, you know what I mean? Like
Yeah.
mindset of like I can accomplish things, right? And you're stubborn because I'm stubborn too. It's like I'm gonna prove everybody wrong, right? Like it's like you have to have this like belief. I feel that way about Uprooted. I was like, you guys are watching it on this level right now, but like the stage that I see it being on, like how massive of an impact it can be, like how many people I can really like help change their life, like I have to believe that more than anybody else, you know? And like I have to even be like willing to say that out loud and like want it and understand and know like that's really what I want. And so like I'm hella proud of you because you like knew that at such a young age, like you were like already doing that. We're doing it on the same timeline, but I got like I don't even know how many years older I am than you right now. Like, you know, like I'm like, okay, like this is hella impressive. I probably would have been even smarter if I was an ID, like instead of American school system, because it's actually pretty trash. But like literally, like that's so impressive. Like you people went through what you went through and they're still like in la la land because it's too hard to process reality. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? And it's like you have forced yourself to process reality and like move through it and like carve out another lane. And I just want you to know that's like pretty phenomenal. And you're not seeing it now, but like when people like watch this and they listen to this and they like they're gonna be like, how the hell? They're literally gonna think like, how the hell is he this strong? And I was like, no, he told you. He went through the depression. He went through it, but like you didn't give up. Right. So like that's part of the being an entrepreneur that you got to learn before the war is that like you're gonna like fail and you have to get up and try again. Or like that didn't work. Okay, so let me try this again. Like being an entrepreneur means you're a problem solver. So like you're gonna keep going until you solve the problem, and that I think that really played a big role in like you being able to like keep at it, because as soon as you got out and like even though you weren't happy with stuff, like you were very like, oh, but I'm going to get this work done or I'm going to figure something out, and you were just like pushing hella hard. And I remember I told you, I was like, hey, goodness, it's okay if you take a break. I was like, it's okay if you sit down. It's okay if you need to cry. Like what you went through was hella hard, bro. Like let's just sit for a second and realize you just left a war zone on a freaking like cargo ass plane that like is wild. Like that, you know what I mean? Like I was like, there was like 2 seconds ago, you weren't sure if there's gonna be an airstrike. You have to like let your brain catch up to you that like you said, when you first got to Addis, everybody's living their life like normal. So you're like in your mind, it's like gaslighting, right? You're like, did I
Yeah.
just imagine what I just went through? Is that just fake? Like is this a joke? You know? And like I remember looking at the news and then going outside and I was like, why is this not on the news? Why isn't this like the number one thing we're talking about? And I was like, oh, it's because we're African. I was like, it's
Yeah.
literally because we're black. Because as soon as Ukraine went to war, that's
We know what happened.
the
We all
only thing I saw 24/7 still now. And I was like, we have lost more people. There has been more damage in Tigray than like anywhere else in the world right now. And it's completely ignored. And I'm just
know.
like, wow. That exactly what you're talking about feeling invisible. I was like, oh, being American, yeah, I have some privileges. I got a blue passport. I got some privileges, but I'm not convinced, I'm not fooled into thinking that our government really cares anything about us. Right? Like I no, like no, not at all. Like being American, they're going to protect this land and this soil, but they're not going to actually live their values of like no more genocide, no more dictators, no more like all this morality stuff that they try to like preach. They're
Preach.
not. They don't care. No, black bodies don't matter to them. More of us can die, and they don't care. But as soon as something affects some like any type of other situation that they have, it's gonna mess up our positioning somehow. Instantly, all of a sudden, we have money for it. we have aid. Like they got the Ukraine internet in like 2 days. Like, like it's like what? And it's so insulting because we've been trying to get that for our people for months, over a year, and you guys still refuse to call it a genocide. Because if they actually call it a genocide, then legally they have to act, you know?
Yeah,
So it
facts.
was just like, you know what? I can't keep wasting, for me personally, like what you said, I was like, I can't keep wasting energy asking people to do what they should do already. Like, let me figure out how I can build something, how I can like fortify my empire so that I can actually be in a position to go support in the way that I can, you know, and like
Yeah,
not be restricted by any of these like stupid laws or like whatever. Like I just don't want to be powerless because I know like something crazy is going to happen in the world again, and I like now am preparing. I understand what you're saying when your parents were preparing. I'm like, yes, I'm prepared for people to do the dumb thing that you don't expect them to do, and I'm going to make sure that I fortify that for myself. And like my goal and my mission for the rest of my life is how can I help other people do that for themselves too? Because we're stronger when we're together, and there has to be a way that we do this. Like we cannot keep leaving it up to the people in charge because they don't care about us.
yeah, yeah. I know. Yeah,
Yeah,
you're right.
it's a lot. But I
It's
was
a
glad.
lot.
It was like I think you called me back like a week later, and you were like, was it like maybe a week or a couple weeks later, and you were like, Rutha, you were right, like about all the emotional stuff you were telling me, and I was like, huh?
Yeah.
What was that? How did that conversation go again? Tell the people.
After the war,
Yeah, when you finally like were like, oh, you're right. We do have to like talk about our feelings.
our feelings. Yeah, like I told you, I'm a kind of person who like who keeps his shit to himself. I try to keep it like up and inside. So like it's it compounded inside me. Like it makes me crazy. And finally we had that conversation, we talked, and like I feel relieved, I feel free, and like I'm not stupid. Why am I keeping to myself? We need to share it. It helps. It helps. Like some people have insecurities with trust issues and so many things, but you need to find your family, friends who you can trust, and you have to talk. That's a healthy way of therapy. You know, people
Mhm.
pay money for therapy. So it's a free therapy. So I remember that day we had that conversation. It helps a lot. It makes me open my eyes in a different direction. It makes
Mhm.
me like more relaxed and more clear on what I want.
Yeah. I was so happy too. I was like, oh, cousin, I love you. Like, you can cry
You've
whenever you want. I
you've
was
been
like,
crying.
whatever. So it was like nice because it was like whenever we would check in, I didn't have to like, I don't have to dance around it. I'm like, no, how are you for real? Like, and then we could talk about
Yeah,
it. And we had to have, and both of us started going through the same things. And like, you went through your depression, I went through mine. And then when my friend died, like I was like, yo, this is crazy. And then another friend died, and I was like, oh my God, because I'm thinking for you, this is what he's been feeling this whole time, you know, like this
yeah,
whole time. And so, like, through all this chaos, it was like, I'm so glad. I was like, no, we're not going to lie to each other. Like, I'm not good right now. Like, I still love you. It's not personal. Like, I literally am trying to keep myself sane. Like, literally. And I just remember I kept telling you, like, hey, you're in survival mode right now. And like, not everybody's going to understand that, but you have to take care of you at the end of the day. Like, no matter what, like, if you get sick, then there's nothing you can do. You can't get up and make more money. I was like, if you like, you know what I'm saying? Like, then you're gonna just be out the game. So I know it doesn't sound like it's important, but you need to do it. And then when you came back and you were like, you were right, I was like, thank God. Like, this is gonna be like, we're gonna get through this because he's gonna at least like start processing some of the truth in front of him.
yeah.
And it was, yeah, now we're here 3 years later and we're
No, we're
back.
here. I remember that particular time I was feeling very very bad because almost 2 3 years after the war, you're trying so many different things, trying to do business, especially if you're like if you have entrepreneur mindset, you try to set up a business or trying to do like trying to hustle wherever you go. So
Mhm.
like tried so many things, failing, and at the time I feel tired. i feel I feel like I'm not doing enough, like your confidence go less.
Mhm.
And I remember you telling me everybody's not okay, even us is here in US, we're not okay, that sometimes we need time, that I have to settle down, rest, take time,
Mhm.
just baby steps, one task at a time,
Mhm.
just like
Yeah.
trying to focus on my health and on my well-being. I remember you telling me that, and it helps.
Yeah. I'm glad because I had to take my own advice too. I was like, you know what? That was smart. You should try it too. Like I was like, let me listen
Yeah,
to myself for once because yeah, it's hard. You can't like it's like a baby. You have to crawl and then walk
yeah,
and then you can, run again. But we have to
phases.
like you're a new person. You have to relearn yourself.
Yeah, life is like all seasons. There's happiness, depressed, sad. Like you have to go through all seasons
Hmm. All of them. And
and all
you
of them.
did
Yeah,
you created like so you had because that I'm gonna lose track of businesses. Like he said multiple. He tried multiple things. So when you were first in Tigray and you still have this business now, because
yeah,
that's the beautiful news. Is like at least right, like full circle, so we can like end on some positivity too. Is like you're able now to like have that baby again, but now you have all this knowledge and like I really think when you build it this time it's not going to crumble because you know everything that you like would even have to think of worst case scenario. Like how can I
yeah,
create this? So that's your printing and packaging, right? So that's Oli.
yeah,
And then what else do you have? Because you like this man has made himself very busy and
yeah,
he is like he has not quit. I hope that that has been like the message that people take is like he has not quit. He's still working. He's still out there. So you have the printing and the packaging, and then what else are you like doing now?
uh before the printing and packaging, I tried so many businesses, so many hustles,
Hmm.
like I learned that if you try out of 10, maybe one can success, only
Hmm.
one, imagine. So let's say
Okay.
you have a business and like your chance of success is very low, so you have to try so many, like earlier we've been talking about the people not knowing what they want to do.
Hmm.
I think that's bullshit. You have to try something. You can't
Mm.
just sit around and say, "Oh, I don't know what to do." No, you have to try. You
Hmm.
have no idea. If I mention things I tried, I don't want to get through it. So many things. I tried so many businesses, and I decided to grow into a company for the printing business because you get to meet so many people. Like,
Hmm.
let's say, from low to high level status people, you get to meet them on a printing business. Let's say, even government, you get to work with them.
Yeah.
Small coffee shops, you get to work with them. Big action companies, you get to work with them. So, like I use that as in like to make a connection and to build a brand.
Hmm.
So when we started the business, it was at the COVID time. People were shutting off, closing businesses, and it was bad timing. But we used that advantage into like, it's what's funny? Our business grew in at the COVID time, at the
Yeah.
pandemic,
Yep. I
because we
remember
add
it.
another additional sector, which is packaging. So
Hmm.
people are taking too much takeaway using true products. So we started
Yep.
printing on them and we tried to distribute. So it grew. It was good. So
Hmm.
only printing and packaging, it's a printing, packaging, also advertisement agency for local businesses. At the same time, there is only technologies. We do software development, uh, supply computers, devices for one organization. Let's say one organization needs ERP systems, let's say softwares, like an IT solution that helps any business to grow. So basically, that's the focus on only technology. We do software development. Like I told you, we supply devices. Uh, uh, we had decent clients, so many systems we did. I don't want to mention names, but it
Mhm.
was good until until the war comes. But now
Yeah.
we're relaunching the business, we're reopening, and it's already started doing business. We try to reinvest it now, so all is on the way. One of my focus I want to work on while I'm still here in Addis. That's one of the biggest projects.
Mhm.
And after that, I want to talk about you want me to talk about Istanbul or Dubai?
Ah, maybe Dubai. You're a
Okay.
busy guy. You're a busy guy.
Okay, Dubai. Dubai. Yeah. After my experience in Dubai was uh, j- uh, it's a little bit weird. Like I learned that when I went to Dubai, that most of the people who live in Dubai,
Mhm.
their target client is Ethiopia. So
Mhm.
all Habesha community who live in Dubai, their source of income is in Ethiopia. So
Mhm.
the status of Ethiopia, the situation in Ethiopia affects your business. You know
Mhm.
what I'm trying to say? Let's say that
Exactly.
if Ethiopia is not doing good, your business is shut off like completely.
Yeah.
So like all the people who's doing business in Dubai, they're not doing it uh, like independent, which is a local business. It's not
Yeah.
possible because let's say Chinese people, they went to Chinese people. Indian people,
Yeah.
they went to Indian people. They don't come to Habesha people. But
Mhm.
Habesha people, like even like inside there's problem. There's region, with the regions
Yeah.
and that, like there's problems. So it's really really hard to survive in Dubai. But I
Mhm.
tried to see so many things, and I couldn't keep up.
Mm.
So I needed a place where I can live with low expense and like try something new. So I traveled to Istanbul,
Mhm.
and it was not easy. In bad times, traveling is not
Yes.
easy. It's not
Yes.
easy. So after 3 months, I met uh, with one Somali guy. So
Mhm.
we shared. I become a partner on his company
Mhm.
by uh, by providing systems and technologies and my experience. I get to have a share on the company
Mhm.
after 3 months after I get to Istanbul. So the business started working and it started growing. So at that time, everything was good. Like most of my problems were fixed, but I knew that I cannot be stable in Istanbul because Istanbul and Dubai is a tourist country.
Yeah.
So you don't have like long-term clients. Like
Got it.
everybody's coming living. So
Mhm.
like also there's a language barrier.
Mhm.
So that was the biggest problem. So I had a plan at that time. My plan was to establish an online business, which is that can give me financial freedom, location freedom, like time freedom.
Yeah.
So on that process, within 5 months of period, I learned how to form a company in US, how to do business with international clients, and how to communicate with people, like all the habits and the lifestyle that I need to adjust to live
Mm.
to do that business. So it took me 4 or 5 months to establish an LLC in US while I
Yeah.
was in Istanbul, because Istanbul, the government, they don't have good diplomacy with the other countries, you know.
Mhm.
Even their banking system, PayPal is banned; it's not allowed. Like most
Mm.
of the online payment system is not allowed.
Yeah.
So I cannot do business with other people internationally. I'm still like I'm out of Ethiopia, but still limited in locally in Turkey.
Got
So
it.
like I told you, I find a way to form an LLC. So I form a bank account, I form a company, and I set up all online meeting platforms, all like all the courses I had to take.
Yeah.
Then like work with 2 3 businesses. Like everything was doing good. And one of the biggest priority I'm working on is my US LLC, which is called
Yeah.
Saxify LLC. You already know.
I know, and I always say I can't say it correctly because you spelled it
Yeah.
so interesting, and I was like, "How do you say this?" I keep saying "suckify," and you're like, "No." I was like, "Okay."
Yeah, we had a limited time at that time, so we just had to pick any name to get into the business because I had a payments I was waiting at that time, so that's why
Yeah.
we just jump into it. There's always time to improvement.
Yes.
So basically, our agency, it's an agency. Our agency, we do online marketing, paid advertisement for Facebook and TikTok to promote other people grow their business.
Mhm.
Let's say you have products you want to sell. It could be info products, it could be online
Hello, my
products.
merch. Uproot Your
Yeah,
Thoughts.
yeah,
Yes.
yeah.
Shameless
So
plug.
we Yeah, so we help business owners promote their business online and increase their daily sales or maybe monthly sales so that
Mhm.
they get a result. And it's not like it's a result based system, it's a
Yeah,
service. You know what I'm
yeah,
trying to say? It's not only marketing, we do also like mainly focusing on marketing on selling products, but we give also web design, system development for clients, and we focus on clients who are like culturally fit with us, who you
yeah,
can work with. We are very selective on which type of clients we want to work with. We just don't do, it's not about just work getting things done. It has to be,
yeah.
one thing I learned on the process is you need to be able to choose the people you work with, because
Very
they
important.
affect your mood and they affect your productivity. So like
Everything.
here, also, like I told you, why I choose the printing business is you get to meet powerful people,
Yeah,
like people who you want to work with.
yeah.
So the same way in our agency, like we want to focus on clients that we want to work with, and it's doing good actually. It's doing good right now.
Good. Essentially, your business is what they're going to see happen, right? We can just use Uprooted as the example because these
Yeah,
are literally the conversations that we were having 3 years ago. And it's like,
yeah.
they try to
No, it's
unplug
here.
us,
Yeah,
they try to unplug us, but here we are. Okay.
yeah,
We're getting plugged right back in because
yeah,
we're going to root ourselves back into our dreams and back into the life we were building. But now we're just even smarter because we know like what we're really against. We know what the real like things are. Like I tell people, I'm like, there's not a whole lot left that's gonna scare me. You know what I mean? Like
yeah,
I know that like I could just as easily have been in your shoes and you could be in mine one day. You know what I mean? And it's like if that time comes, I'm just gonna have to be prepared. Like I'm just gonna have to be
yeah,
prepared and I'm just gonna have to like be ready to go. But the fact that like we both like were working towards this dream and then you were like the other missing part for me of like I have to build this with you. Like the whole point of Uprooted is to like bridge the gap between the diaspora and like the rest of like actual Africans. You know what I mean? Like whatever you call yourself globally, it's like those of us who are living in Africa need to reconnect with those of us who have been removed from Africa for different reasons, right? And like
yeah,
it's so full circle to me that like 3 years later like you're back in that position to do what we had already planned to do, right? Like I was like, you're gonna help me scale this because I don't enjoy marketing. Like I don't enjoy I really don't. I really don't. And I know that I shouldn't say that. Like maybe I should knock on wood. I don't know. But like I was just like, oh, perfect, cuz like I need you to build me an app. I need you to build my website. Go ahead and run those ads for me. I was like, can you run the clips? I was like, can you make the post? I was like, can you just do all of that and I'm just gonna show up and I'm just gonna do the recording? Like
yeah,
that's all I
yeah,
wanted to do. And you were like, yeah, we can do that. We can do all of that. And I was like, perfect. Let me just figure out
yeah,
how to pay you. And literally, through all of this, you had to learn the hard way how you can now really work with international clients and get paid to do what everybody else gets to do in their countries because they have stable Wi-Fi and governments that are not crazy. Like ridiculous. So
yeah.
ridiculous. So it's like now it's like really who can stop us? Like for real
Mm,
at this point.
yeah, there's no one who could stop us. Like that's the biggest thing about our agency is to relieve all that stress, headache when it comes to your social media presence to marketing, how to sell your products. Like we got it. That's
Yes.
what we're here for. As an agency, let's say you hire someone who's gonna like it's hard to manage that employee, and one person like I can see so many results, but it's a lot of stress on to put on one person. But as an agency, as a company, like outsourcing that part of your job is a big
Mm.
relief. You just have weekly meetings. There's a report that we do, and we focus on your core values, what you do, like all
Yeah.
that. Like now we're acting as an agency. Before we're talking like
Yeah.
schemes and ideas,
And I'm
what
like,
to
I
do.
have a whole business license now, and I'm like about to figure out
Yeah.
all the other steps and
Uprooted podcast is big
yeah.
now, like a lot of audience. Our company is big now. So many experiences, stable license, stable bank account, like online contracts, payment system. We have Stripe for to receive payments. We have all types of payments. So like living the dream now. I think.
Yes. I'm so proud. Oh my god. I love
Thank
this. I
you. I'm
I
so
let us
proud.
like yes. I was like I let us go like way over because this is such an important conversation and like I
Yeah.
really wanted people to learn that like you went through like the hardest period that you're probably ever going to go through in life, you know?
Yeah.
And like I went through my variation of that as well. Like even today I had lunch with like one of my best friends and he was like, how is that? How is everything? And I was like, honestly, like there's a peace treaty right now, so I have like momentary relief. And it's not really a full peace treaty. Like we understand that there's still parts that are occupied and like things aren't like completely where they need to be. But what I can say, or not say but, and at the same time, like what I can say and like going back to like your check-in from the beginning is like I can be very grateful that I get to connect with my family. Like I get to like connect, like oh, I'm going to get all emotional, but like at the beginning of this, like I remember telling my best friend like I have to like accept a reality where like at the end of this, I can do all the fighting I want in the world and I might wake up and my family might not exist anymore. Like my entire family because it's only like a couple of us in the states. You know what I mean? There's only a
Yeah.
couple of us like in other parts of the world that like people that we're blood related to. Do you know what I'm saying? I was like, I don't know how crazy these people are. Like, I might literally wake up and like Tigray just ceases to exist. And
Yeah.
like, I don't, I'm like, I've been processing a lot of stuff, but that was like such a scary thing to like think about. And I felt like I had that conversation and then I was like, okay, I know that's a possibility, but I'm going to work like hell to make sure that that's not the truth and like that doesn't come into like fruition now. And like now that like there's somewhat more stability, I feel like we're getting back on our feet, like we're getting back into like actually being able to live my life, like I'm just like, wow. Like I'm just so grateful that I can now get on this like recording with you, that like you're here, that I can hear you, I can see you, and then eventually one day soon I'll be able to give you a real hug in person again. And that's gonna be like a whole emotional day. Like I'm gonna just be like crying all day long and I'm gonna be
Yeah.
all puffy. I'm like, I can't believe you're here. Like it's just gonna be a whole mess and I can't wait for that day because I know that like when that day comes and it's gonna come very soon, like we're gonna be able to say like, cousin, are you ready to build? Like, are you ready to like actually take back our life? Like, are you ready to say F you to all the people who tried to like kill us and bury us and think that we were gonna just sit down and give up? And it's like, nah, hell nah. You just made us hella angry and you just made us
Yeah.
hella more determined to be like,
Yeah.
oh, you tried to limit me to Tigray. Now I'm about to go everywhere. Now I'm about to be like, oh no, I'm not a local business, baby. I'm international. Like
I'm national, yeah.
I'm international
All
now.
over the
Like,
place.
oh my god, I'm so excited. I'm so excited. And that's like really what I want to manifest, like for real. But like I want to ask you now, in closing, in like ending this conversation, because I honestly think we're gonna have to run this back again in like 2 or 3 months, because like I already know people are gonna have hella questions. I'm like,
Yeah.
yo, this story, like we're just giving you a brief overview. Nigga, 3 years of trauma is a lot to try to do
So,
unpack in
yeah.
1 hour. Like that's not gonna happen. This is gonna
We
be like
left
a
a lot
two
of
hour
topics behind. Yeah.
Right. Like this is already gonna be like 2 hours. So like you're already getting hella love from us. You know what I mean? And it's like it's
Yeah,
hella
thank you.
hard to be this vulnerable and like open up that story because we're still in the middle of processing it. So I really am thankful for you. And so what I want to ask you like in closing is I just shared what I'm manifesting and what like I'm excited for us to do, but like I want to ask you like what are the seeds that you are planting now for yourself? Like what are you trying to like what roots are you trying to plant for you? Like how do you want to grow and build and like what do you want to leave behind for people, as a legacy after that?
Uh, I'm a kind of person who likes to share his experience, who like to help people. Like the reason we started this business and we're doing good is it's there to help people. Let's say you have a business, we want to help you. We want to help you grow. We want to help you achieve your life. We want to help you support your family. Like that's that kind of family, like that family relationship. So I want to be able to I want to be able to see my business running and helping people and impacting in a positive way. Let's say I help you promote your product. A lot of people get helped. That's what I'm trying to talk about earlier. I want to choose the product what I want to promote. I want to be selective who I want to work with. You
Yeah.
understand? So I've been
Yeah.
working with like, let's say, in the past 2 years, I was working with NGO companies, helping them on their social media, helping them raise money for the people. uh,
Mhm.
this is something you're not going to talk about, like promote bets. It's something
Yeah.
that helps the people.
Yeah.
So that's my plan. I want to be able to help people. I want to be able to be able there for the people who can use me and uh, use me other way to grow their business, or other way to improve their life.
Mhm.
So I want to be a positive impact on the people around me. And the things I'm working on right now is, like I told you, there's it's 2 years it was closed, my business. I'm trying to
Yeah.
light it up again. And like I
Yes.
told you, my online business, the agency, we're working on that. And at the same time, we have online product. It's not something to promote here because it's not good, but we have e-commerce brands that we're selling online. You don't give your products.
Okay. I was
So
like, we can talk about this
e-commerce,
offline.
I'm working on e-commerce
Mm,
products, and at the same time I'm helping other people who works on e-commerce or info products, who have products who they want to sell online. We're there to help them out.
mhm.
And yeah, I'm just wondering, just gonna have to see.
Yeah.
Other
Oh,
businesses as well.
I'm so excited for you.
Yeah.
I'm like all emotional because it's like the part where like I do like affirmations and like it's so hard because like usually I don't share, like I share a lot vulnerably, I cry, I do all that stuff, but like I'm very protective of my family, like like I'm very protective of like no, like this is my real life, my people, like like this is it,
Yeah.
but it's just like I just know like um one, like I told you before we started recording, I was just like, this is gonna be such an important interview. Like, not just like because me and you are already having these conversations. So like we have already benefited, and we're still gonna continue to benefit off of like our relationship and everything. But like this is so important because I know how many people that like experience what you experienced that need to hear your story. And like your just the fact that you're alive, like just the fact that you haven't given up, like that you're still like you can keep the hustler nickname, like the fact that like you're really like you have already like so much like you have already impacted me so much positively because I was like I can't give up. Like how can I make an excuse and give up, and not like in a bad way like pressure, but I was like, yo, if he can like get up and like take as many hits as he's taken and like continue forward and not give up on the dream and like not give up on his purpose is like that was so inspiring to me. Like even on my darkest day, like even when I was like not doing well and like you were like, you know, talking to my mom or my mom was like, oh goodness called, I was like, I literally can't, but like I was so happy that you're talking to him. Is he okay? Okay, good. And I'm like, wow, he hasn't given up. I was like, I have to get through this season and I'm going to get up and I'm going to like do this for Zoo. I'm going to do this for him. We're going to do this shit together. And it's like, I couldn't be prouder to be your cousin. Like, oh my God, it's like making me cry like a lot. But like, I'm just like, wow, like you're my family. Like I come from like this kind of beauty. Like I come from a line of fighters. Like I come from people who don't give up. Like, you know, like I can see like you're younger than me, you know, and I'm just like, wow, like my baby cousin is not a baby. Like he's really like out here like doing his thing. Like it's like, it just makes me happy. And then like when people talk to me and they're coming out of situations like you, I'm like, I know you can do it because my cousin is a genius and he figured out how to do this, and now I get to like share you with the rest of the world. And I'm like, I promise you, if you see me succeeding, it's because you see him succeeding. And I'm like, you're 100% already doing like everything that you need to do. And I just can't wait to like see it like times 100, times 1,000. Like when we get to step back in Tigray and we're like, baby, those 15 people that you had to let go of, you're going to have 15,000 that you get to employ that are going to be like, you know what I'm
I
saying?
hope
That
so.
are going to be like, so like their life is just going to be changed because like you had the courage and you had enough like discipline and like you have so much freaking love in your heart that you still just want to like see people grow and do better, and like you're already doing that. So like as soon as we get you the resources you need, like and really get to support you for real, like I want like after this when people see it, I want them to be blowing up people that like they want to find a way to help Tigray, they want to help Tigrayans. He got a whole business. Like your client roster should be busy for booked and busy for the next 3 years. Like there's a wait list. Like there is
Playlist.
a wait list. Like this is an exclusive clientele only. Like,
Yeah.
it's gonna be so amazing. Oh my god. I just like freaking love you. Thank you so much for coming on here.
Thank you. Thank you very much for having me, Ruth. Zahaftay.
Yes. Oh my gosh. Okay. We didn't do too much crying. I feel like
It's enough. Yeah.
I
It's
made it.
enough.
I made it through. I made it through. I
Yeah.
wasn't sure. I wasn't sure if I was gonna make it. I was like, yo, this is hard. This is so hard. Like there's so much, and I just man, you really like came and you just shared so vulnerably. How do you feel? Like I'm so proud of you.
I feel I think this is my first time. It feels good. I feel good. I want to tell the people also one message
Go
that
ahead.
like people don't believe on things they don't see. You feel me?
Mm-hmm.
Like when I think about like the only thing I had was a dream. I want to start a business. I want to be international. I just want to be online. But people want that, but they don't think it's possible. That's why they don't try.
Yeah.
You feel me? So I want us to work on showing the people the direction into opening the window to the international community
Yeah.
and how to do their business, how to support their family, how to even if you support one person, he's gonna support his whole family. Imagine. So it's not easy. So
Yeah.
I want us to show the people that it's possible. They only need internet. They can study, they can do research, they can be disciplined, they can be successful. So
Right.
I wish all this to all the people that who are in need of who shared our dream and our goals.
That was perfect. That was a perfect ending because that's literally what I say on Manifest Monday all the time. And I said that
Yeah.
today, and I was like, you got to take accountability. You can't stay the victim forever. You got to be a leader in your life, and like it all starts with a dream. Like it starts with the vision, and I'm so glad you said that because it's not from me. They heard it from you. They heard it from you. So it has to be true.
Yeah.
Oh. Okay, good. I love that. All right, y'all. That was like the dopest episode of Uproot Your Thoughts ever. Thank you so much, Kidus, for coming. These people,
Thank
if they
you.
do not subscribe after this, if they don't subscribe after this episode, I don't know what to do anymore. I'm gonna leave it to you. I'm just gonna like figure it out because literally this is free. Subscribe. Like we just shared our whole heart with you, so like please like take it, share it with somebody else who is going through this, share it with like your families. If you have not, like if you're experiencing distance with your family, your relatives, like you don't know how to start, like you heard it from us. Like the reason we can sit here now and do this vulnerably is because we did that in the beginning. Like I literally was like, yo, if you need to cry, cry. Like don't keep telling people who are going through trauma, stay strong, forget about it. Like hell nah, cry about that shit and then we'll get back up tomorrow, but like process it. So if we were a blessing, if we helped you, the best thing that y'all can do, go talk to your family, go talk to your friends, go reconnect with people, and like don't stop dreaming. So again, y'all, thank you so much. Follow us, subscribe, share, like, tell us in the comments what was useful. Y'all got questions for my cousin. You know, y'all seen all the different ways you can contact this man. I don't have anything else for these people. If they can't figure it out, they're gonna have to read the description and find your links because I don't know what to tell y'all. I'm telling you, he's about to be big time in, and I've already reserved my spot as a client. So the rest of you guys are gonna have to figure it out. And I just love you. So peace and love, everybody. It's Uproot Your Thoughts. This is Uprooted Network. We will see y'all again next week. Peace out. Y'all, what's good, Uprooted Fam? I really hope you enjoyed that last episode. And the way that you could let me know, hit that like button. Make sure you hit that like button. Please share, okay? If this blessed you, tell a friend, to tell a friend, to tell another friend. And that's how we grow. So, again, like, share, and if you are not subscribed, what are you doing? It's free. It's free, y'all. Subscribe. Also, if you have not picked up your merch, hey now, say now. Go ahead and hit up uprootednetwork.com. Again, that is uprootednetwork.com. Get your merch, get all your podcast links there. And we're going to be rolling out programming pretty soon, and you're going to want to be registered. I'm just telling you, make sure you are following us and make sure that you are tapping in with your girl. Love y'all all so much. Have a blessed day.